Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Yeah, I was just wondering if.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. I couldn't meet you yesterday. I hope Dr. Sharada filled in for me. Yeah. Am I audible now?
Sir?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a presentation. If you can see it. Okay. Dr. Faustus. It's on page number 35, I think, on your instruction material. Okay. Now, in this unit, this is unit 2. In this unit, you have 4 plays, right? Marlowe, Dr. Faustus, then John Webster's Duchess of Malfi, and 2 plays by Shakespeare, The Tempest and As You Like It, and The Way of the World by William Congreve, which is a restoration comedy. So this is a fairly lengthy unit. So I think we will need a couple of classes. So I'll spend another class on this unit. Today we shall start with Dr. Faustus. Now the text of Dr. Faustus is available on different websites, so you can just browse the internet and then. Okay, just a second. Now those of you who are asking these questions about which paper, which unit, you can just look at the chat. Right before I started itself, I told you that it is Unit 2, Drama, Dr. Faustus. So no further questions. Please don't waste your time. And your friends also have given you the page numbers. So just follow the chat. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. So now, okay. Now, Dr. Faustus is a tragedy. One of the important tragedies during the Elizabethan period. Now, before I move further, I would like you to understand certain things here. Now, little biographical details about Marlowe. See, Marlowe's, there are a lot of controversies about Marlowe's life. So, what I am presenting to you is the authentic information that is from scholarly and credible sources. So, just ignore if there are any changes in the dates and all that. Okay, so Faustus, before we talk about Faustus, let us talk about Christopher Marlowe. Now, Marlowe was the son of a cobbler, a shoemaker. His father was a shoemaker, and he was born in Canterbury in Kent. Canterbury is a place in Kent, and he was baptized in 1564, and this happens to be the same year in which Shakespeare was also born. Shakespeare was born in April, so Marlowe was born in February. So he was older, and he's the most important, significant playwright. So please make use on words like playwright. Don't say playwriter. Okay, playwright, dramatist. So a playwright and dramatist both mean the same. And he is an important contemporary of Shakespeare. By that, which we mean that Shakespeare lived during the time of Webster, Marlowe. The significance of Marlowe is that he introduced blank verse in his plays. When I was talking about Milton's Paradise Lost, if you remember, I talked about blank verse. Does anyone remember that? Anything about blank verse? Anyone in this group remembers what we discussed in the previous classes about blank verse? Well, I'll repeat again.
Unrhymed.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
And pentametrical lines. Every line has 10 syllables.
Exactly, very good. Every line has 10 syllables, and these 10 syllables are divided into 5 feet or 5 units, they are called. That's why penta. Network is very bad. Your network or my network? I am using my band, I have no problem here. Maybe, is this the same problem with all of you? Are you not able to hear me?
No, sir.
There is no, we can hear you, or no, we cannot hear you. What is the response?
We can hear you, sir.
Okay. So maybe you need to tweak your own, devices at your end. Okay. Well, so yeah, let's not spend much time on this, but you need to understand, since you are all students of literature, and you need to understand what is iambic pentameter is. So unrhymed, every line will have 10 syllables. So okay, and the credit of making blank verse a part of the drama goes to Christopher Marlowe. And he was an MA from Corpus Christi College, Cambridge. Corpus Christi is one of the most reputed oldest colleges along with Trinity in Cambridge. And he is also one of the university wits. Now, whenever you talk about Elizabethan drama, you talk about university wits. In the UGC net exams also, you get questions like this. So now, university wit, that was a term coined by George Sainsbury. Sainsbury was a historian of literature. So especially when he was writing about the history of Elizabethan theatre, he coined this term called university wits. Why university wits? The reference here is to a group of playwrights who were from either Oxford or Cambridge universities, and who were writing literary pieces, and especially plays and pamphlets and poetry. So the university wits, quickly, can anyone read the names of the university wits? The last one, Robert Greene.
One of the university wits educated at Cambridge or Oxford, Sainsbury. Robert Greene, Thomas Nash, Thomas Nash, John Lyle, John Lilly, Thomas Lodge, George Peel, and Thomas Kidd. Mysterious death, political, religious, sexual, personal intrigue.
Yeah, thank you. Intrigue. Now, about the pronunciation, TH is always the T sound. Thomas Nash. There is no T in English, I told you a long time ago. Since you are doing paper 1, which is, you are also doing phonetics, yes or no? Yeah? Some of you are doing phonetics paper?
Yes, sir.
Language.
Yes, sir. One.
Right. So now, there is no T sound in English. There is G. So, it is not Thomas Nash, it is Thomas Nash. So Thomas Nash, Thomas Lodge. So he was one among the university wits. Of course, Thomas Kidd is added as a university wit, but there is no hard evidence about his having attended either Oxford or Cambridge. It's Cambridge, not Cambridge, it's Cambridge. Okay. He was many things. The personality of Marlowe is very interesting. He was a spy. He was into politics. He was into religious controversies. He worked as a spy in France, and he was also a playwright. And maybe, there is a mystery surrounding the death of Christopher Marlowe. He was killed. It was a homicide. It was a kill. His death was not a natural death. The reasons I spelled out here, politically he was eliminated, or they were religiously because of his blasphemy, because certain papers were found in his lodgings which were blasphemous in nature, or was it a homosexual kind of a rivalry, or was it a personal intrigue? It was very, very mysterious kind of life that Christopher Marlowe lived. Are we comfortable till here? If you say yes, I will move on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, his place quickly. Now, these are the important plays. He started off as a classical. Most of the universities were taking examples from Greek and Roman writers. So, Dido, Queen of Carthage, Tamburlaine, okay. Then the Jew of Malta, Edward II, Dr. Faustus, one of the last plays that he wrote. Now, in some of the sources, it is written as Edward II as the last play, but that's not correct. Dr. Faustus, for all scholarly, agreement, that is the last play. And he wrote only one poem, which is unfinished, called Hero and Leander. Okay, Hera and Leander. In some cases, this is again a working of an old mythology. It was finished by another poet called George Chapman. These are the important works. Can you quickly read them aloud? Any one of you? Okay. Right. Now,
Please.
quickly about drama in Britain. So this is called tragedy. This unit is called drama. So you must understand what is drama. What is it is acting. Okay, it is to present. Okay, to enact. It is a kind of a presentation. So quickly, the origin of dramas in Britain, so that you will understand this play in better perspective. The earliest drama in Britain was a religious drama. Because the language used in the church was Latin, people did not understand what the priests were saying. So what on special occasions, especially during Easter and during Corpus Christi festivals, so the priests, they enacted certain parts of the scriptures, okay? Instead of just reading from the scriptures in Latin, that particular portion they would enact. So this became the religious drama in Britain. The earliest form of drama was religious drama. It was religious in nature. Whatever scriptures were being read in Latin were enacted, especially the three Marys going to the tomb of Christ after the crucifixion, and the three women, the three Marys meeting the angels, and the angels telling them that they have come to an empty tomb. This is the beginning of. This is called the Easter trope in drama, or also called the Quem Quiritis trope. Mysteries and miracles referred to. Now the mysteries were the mysteries of the creation, about fall, resurrection, salvation, damnation. So these are the mysteries. The plays about certain events in scriptures like the fall of Adam, okay, Noah's flood, Abraham's sacrifice. Okay, from the Old and the New Testament, certain episodes were taken and they were made into plays. They were presented by the workers' guilds. They were called the guilds. Okay, so potters, weavers, carpenters, okay, smiths. They presented their plays. Okay. Now later on, the miracle plays. The miracles are about the life of the saints. Okay. So slowly, what happened? The religious drama took a secular form. it came out of the church and it was being enacted in the open places. They are called the cycling place. They are called the York cycle, Chester cycle. Okay. The moralities are the secular drama, no longer about scriptures, about the biblical events and characters, but the moralities are about the person, about the inside conflict that a human being experiences. So this was what is called as prudential psychometria, the war that takes place in the mind. Now, dear friends, for Faustus' play, this is very important because the war takes place within the mind of Faustus. Yeah, this is the first year class. What is the question that your friend has here? This is the first time I joined the class today. Could anyone please clarify this is first year class or second year? Oh, I don't know. Maybe I think, what do you mean by first year? Okay. Previous is first year. Right, good. Somebody answered, so I am cleared of this responsibility. Now the interludes are actually, they are nothing related to the mind or the religious themes, but they were secular themes, meaning contemporary politics, contemporary issues. Short plays were made on these themes. These are called the interludes. Are you able to get the idea of the early drama from mystery plays, miracle plays, morality plays to the interludes? Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now the early tragedies in Britain were by scholars, school teachers, academics. So Thomas Sackville and Thomas Norton, okay, they began with the first tragedies or first classical tragedies of Borboduc and other plays. This period also saw the beginning of professional theatre. Theatre became professional by the 15th century in Britain. So they were called king's players or chamberlain players. In the Elizabethan period, these are important playwrights. Marlowe, Shakespeare, Thomas Heywood, Thomas Kidd. This is the Elizabethan period because they wrote during the time of who? They wrote during the time of? Anyone can answer this question?
Elizabeth.
Okay, the pronunciation is Elizabeth. Okay, it's not Elizabeth. It is the E is long vowel. Okay, Elizabeth. So now Elizabeth, during her time, she was the daughter of Henry VIII. She was the daughter of Henry VIII. Now, to understand the history of England, you can just watch any movie that is available on YouTube or Elizabeth the movie. Okay, you have 2 movies on Elizabeth or The Man for All Seasons, so you will get a fair idea of all these intrigues and political scheming during her time. Now, Elizabethan, then during the time of James, King James. After Elizabeth, you have Edward, and after Edward, you have James I. That is called Jacobean drama. Ben Jonson and John Webster are the important playwrights of the Jacobean period. Okay. Now, at this time, during the time of Shakespeare, during the Elizabethan period, professional theatres were playhouses were erected outside the municipality of London. Okay. Within London, on the outskirts, they were Curtain, Swan, Globe. Globe is the most important theatre. They have reconstructed the Globe Theatre. They could find the foundations of the Globe Theatre in London, and they have reconstructed it. You can just Google it up, you will know. Globe Theatre is still there. Okay, and Shakespeare had shares in Globe Theatre. It was burnt down, and later people forgot about it, but now they have reconstructed it. Are we clear about the drama in Britain? Because we have to discuss Faustus and Marlowe. So this is all the background. Okay, you cannot start abruptly. Okay, yeah. Now, can Can anyone read what is this here? What is written here? Quickly, please.
The theatre of Delphi and the temple of Apollo below, 4th century BCE. The capacity of the theatre was around 5,000 spectators.
This is the oldest theatre that is surviving. You can see it is in Greece, it is in Delphi, okay, the theatre, 4th century BC, okay. It's a spectacular sight, you will see it. Now this is the Roman theatre, that was the Greek theatre, the Roman theatre. This is in a place called Leptis Magna. I took the photograph, okay. So this is the Roman version of the theatre, okay. Well, people sit here on these, stairs here, and they can enter from here. This is all actually, at one point of time, this whole thing used to be covered. You could have, okay, a roof, and these are the places where characters used to, use as green rooms and rehearse and all that. This is where the orator would. I'm pointing the cursor here. This is where the orator would begin to talk about what the play was about. So this is the Greek theatre. All drama in Europe begins with a Greek theatre. The Roman theatre, this is the Roman, the earlier one was the Greek theatre. This is a contemporary performance of mystery plays, okay, which were regularly performed outside the churches, okay. So this is a mystery performance. The York Mystery Play Procession, it's still performed even now. You can just Google up YouTube to find these performances. Now coming to this play, okay. Now what you find important in the play is just let me tell you what tragedy is. Can anyone explain to me what a tragedy is? This is called a tragedy, sir. So what is a tragedy? Quickly. What do you think is tragedy?
So sadness?
Sadness. Okay. Somebody says sadness. Any story that ends in sadness is a tragedy? That's how we understand, right?
Yes, ending with accident or losing someone.
Okay. So if A loses B, so that's a tragedy. Okay. That is a general understanding of tragedy. Now I understand. You all have a fairly commonsensical understanding of tragedy, but tragedy as a form, okay, in Western, because in the Eastern tradition you don't have tragedy, you have tragedy as a dramatic concept only in the Western theatre. Tragedy is, it raises, can you just quickly note down, it raises fundamental questions about man's position in the universe. Okay, one. A tragedy raises questions about man's position, man/woman's position in the universe. In a tragedy, you have what is called a representation of the serious things of life. Okay? A tragedy is serious in nature. It deals with a serious theme. Okay? And one of the important elements of tragedy is the character, or what is called as the protagonist. Okay? The tragic character is somebody who is noble, who has great qualities, but he also suffers from a flaw which is called tragic flaw. In Greek it is called hamartia. Okay. Now, what brings down the downfall of a character is called tragic flaw. Don't say tragic flow. People sometimes get tragic flow. It's not flow. It is tragic flaw. Actually, hamartia is to miss the mark. Now, in tragedy, you find in the plot of the tragedy, you find these phases called peripeteia and agnoresis. Don't worry about the Greek terms, I'll explain. A sudden reversal, okay, of fortune is called peripeteia. From one position, suddenly the characters find themselves in another position. And then anagnorisis recognition, a revelation, a recognition of their own, form or of their own position. And then it leads to a catastrophe. It is not catastrophe, it is catastrophe, wherein there is this consequences of one's own actions begin to take, toll. Catharsis. A tragedy ends in catharsis. Catharsis means basically it's a kind of cleansing effect. Can you remember this? When you watch a tragedy, it will arouse certain emotions in you. The emotions are pity and fear. You pity the character. You pity the characters who suffer, and also you fear that what happened to them might happen in real life. So this is a cathartic feeling that the play.
Your voice is breaking.
Oh, my voice is breaking. Am I audible now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? Well, some say yes, some say no, so I don't know where I am.
Your voice is clear, sir. Your voice is clear. Might be they are from their end, participants and technical issue might be there.
Right. I got another response here saying that I am fine. Okay, my voice is coming across clearly. So, dear friends, and then in Greek drama, the chorus was very, very important. Chorus refers to a group of performers, men and women, okay, who actually would stand. Sometimes they were part of the action, sometimes they were just part of the musical setting. So they used to sing songs, and this chorus used to comment on the action that used to happen on the stage. Now in Dr. Faustus, chorus is used by Marlowe. So you need to make a note of that. We will talk about what impact does the chorus have on. So don't say chorus or something of that kind, please. It's a chorus and it is a choir. Okay. So a group of singers is called a choir. Okay. And also it's also called chorus, choral. Right? Am I clear? Well. Yeah. Forget about the fact 24 hours and 24 years. We'll come to that later. Now, can anyone read the characters? These are the important characters in the play. I will tell you what are the important characters. First, read out the characters. Anyone quickly? Yeah. Anyone can this gentleman? I don't know who he says as Holy Mary Degree College. Can you just unmute yourself, sir, and read?
Definitely, sir. The characters: Dr. John Faustus, Wittenberg University, Wagner, student, a servant, old man, Valdis, Cornelius, friends, magicians, necromancers, priests.
Necromancers.
Yes, sir. Three scholars, students under Faustus. Pope Adrian.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Please.
The pronunciation is Faustus. Okay.
Faustus. Okay, sorry, sir. Sorry.
It is since you are student of language also, there's a
Yes,
right? There is a vowel
Yes.
slide from R to U. It is Faustus, right? Faustus. Yeah. Go ahead.
Faustus. Okay, sir. Pope Adrian, Raymond King. Sir. Adrian, Raymond King of Hungary.
Right.
Bruno, the rival Pope. Cardinals. Charles, 5th Emperor of Germany. Dukes, Knights, Robin, Dick, Winkler. Am I correct, sir? Winkler.
Precisely, you're correct.
Horse, courser.
Right.
Hostess, good and bad angels, Mephistopheles. Am I correct, sir?
Mephistopheles, correct?
And I am unable to see the next one, sir. Please. Lucifer, Beelzebub spirits, and
Spirits
and apparitions.
Right.
Apparitions.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now here the important characters, forget about all the other characters. The characters you should focus on, one is John Faustus. Well, even if you call him Faustus, also Dr. Faustus, okay? He is from the University of Wittenberg, the same university where Martin Luther studied and also taught. Then Wagner, Francis Wagner, is a companion to Faustus. He is his student. He is his apprentice, if we can call him. He is also he takes care of his needs. So he is a servant, comes student. There is an old man who is very significant because the old man comes. He is one of the voices in the play. Now these two characters are very significant. Valdez and Cornelius. Valdez and Cornelius, they are his friends who are also magicians. They are necromancers. Necromancers are, people who deal with bringing back the dead, conjuring spirits, communicating with the dead. That is called necromancy. Okay? Am I clear about this? Because necromancy forms a part of the play. Anyone has a doubt about this, please can quickly wave. You have facility to raise your hand there and ask me. Yeah, go ahead, Renuka.
Sir, can you please elaborate who are necromancers?
Necromancers are necros is dead in Greek. Okay, so necromancers are people who are in communication with the dead. Okay, it could be called they use spells to bring back the dead spirits. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Okay.
That is necromancy. So Cornelius and Valdez are the ones who prompt Dr. Faustus to indulge in necromancy. Then, well, you can forget about all these characters. You can just remember Pope, okay, and then Bruno, then Charles Pitt. Well, and now there is a purpose in grouping them together. Now Robin, Dick, Vintner, okay, and Horst Corser and Hostess, all of them belong to a particular strata of society. They are, they are mostly into the comic scenes. In this tragedy, you have comedy, being mingled with tragedy, a kind of an interludes between the acts. So that's where these characters come into use. Then the last section are the supernatural characters. Of course, you have the good and the bad angels, which are from the morality place. Then Mephistopheles. Mephistopheles is a very important character in Dr. Faustus. You might get a question on what is the role of Mephistopheles in Dr. Faustus' damnation. Okay. Then Lucifer, of course, the prince of darkness. Okay, the fallen angel, whom we have already met in Paradise Lost. Okay, Lucifer, meaning bearer of light. Then Beelzebub, who is a chief of the fallen angels, also used as an alternative, as a synonym for the devil in more so in the New Testament scriptures. Okay, so these are the supernatural elements. Now, the source of Dr. Faustus is from Germany. Faustus, just like Mephistopheles, Faustus is a folk character. He appears in number of forms. Marlowe had access to the story of Dr. Faustus from a translation of Faust's book, a book that is written by Faustus himself. Now you must understand that there was a real Faustus. Okay, got the idea? There was a person called John Faustus, Johann Faustus during the 15th century, okay, 16th century, during the time of Martin Luther. So the translation came up in 1592, the history of the damnable life and deserved death of Dr. John Faustus. This was the work from Faust book translated into English. What does it deal with? It deals with Faustus was a scholar. Faustus was a very erudite person. Okay. Now he made a pact with the devil. He made an agreement with the devil, and finally he is into necromancy. He is into sorcery. Okay, and then finally his soul is carried away by the devil, and then he is damned. Okay, this is the story which was very popular in Germany about a man who loses his soul, who sells his soul to the devil. So, is this idea clear to you? Making a pact with the devil?
Yes, sir.
For some gain. So you need something. So you make a pact with the devil. Of course, in day-to-day life, people keep making pacts with the devils, or you need something. So you lose your soul. Okay, you give up your soul to gain that. So the historical Faustus, circa 1480, he was born around that time and died in 1530, and he was variously known as Henrik Faust or Johann Faustus. And this is so popular, the story, that Goethe, Wilhelm von Goethe, another very great writer, German romantic writer, Goethe wrote a play called Faust in 1808. Of course, there the story is different. It was mostly about, not so much about power over things, but about solving human problems by using magic, and then finally the tragic love of Faust with Gretchen, okay, or Marguerite. It's a fascinating. It's one of the classics. You can just refer to it. But whenever you discuss, dear friends, in the examination about Faustus, you can also mention that Goethe also wrote a version of the Faust story called Faust. Now, I'll tell you the story of Faustus in a short while, but certain things. Dr. Faustus sometimes is referred to as an inverted saint. The Faust book actually is seen as some kind of a Lutheran writing, meaning this was written during the Reformation period. So the religious controversies of that particular period also find a very, very direct reference in this particular text. And Wittenberg, Faustus says in one of his soliloquies that had I not seen Wittenberg. So Wittenberg is a university where Martin Luther taught. He was a professor of theology there. So there are so many resemblances in a way between Luther and Faustus, but in an inverted way. Okay. Then the spirit of Reformation and Renaissance, both of them reflect in the play, because the Reformation is about the individual. Okay, the individual has access to knowledge. The individual has direct access to the secrets of the scriptures. Okay, and also ultimately God. So this emphasis on the knowing subject or the individual is very, very important in all the play. And also anti-papacy. Papacy means against the Pope. Okay, so in the play you find a lot of references because Faustus and Mephistopheles, both of them, play tricks on the cardinals, the Pope, and then in a piggyback fashion, Mephistopheles carries Bruno, the rival Pope. Okay, so what is important here is that the play deals with the themes of the individual. Okay, the individual as the central, as the pillar of the Western universe. We already talked about Renaissance in the earlier classes, where the centrality of the human being has been stressed. So think about these themes. The relation between knowledge and power, okay, fosters, no doubt he is in search of the knowledge, but also he wants to control that. We'll come to that later. And yeah, I'll tell you what the story is about. Now, what happens in the story? Some of you are familiar with that. Now, Dr. Faustus, in the beginning of the play, is shown in his study. He has completed his studies. Now he's thinking about, specializing in something. Then he takes to necromancy, that is, he takes to magic. And in this, he is helped by Valdus and Cornelius, his friends. Though the spirits, the old man, the good angel, warn him of the consequences. But Faustus is visited by Mephistopheles because he shows interest. So the devil comes to you when the devil doesn't take anyone by force. Is that clear? Okay? So, unless there is a willingness, are you here with me? Can I say see some responses here?
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm here.
Yes, sir. So, even in Paradise Lost also, the devil or Satan doesn't have power over the soul of human beings unless they take the initiative. So, Faustus shows that inclination even before Mephistopheles comes to him. And when Mephistopheles appears, and then Faustus makes a bargain with him. Okay, he wants to know about heaven and hell, and then he wants to have power. He wants to have control over things which a normal human being wouldn't. For which Faustus is told by Mephistopheles that he needs to consult his master Lucifer. He's just an agent. And in the second act, you know that Mephistopheles convinces Faustus of the power that he would have over everything that he wants. And it's something like a real power, but Faustus doesn't understand that this is not real power in any sense. So the agreement is that for 24 years, Faustus is given all power, okay, material and spiritual, okay, in matters of spirits and also in the matters of the physical. And at the end of it, his body and soul belongs to Lucifer, and they can take him whenever they want. This is the pact that he makes. And Mephistopheles says that he needs to sign it. He signs the pact with his blood. The blood congeals, the blood doesn't flow. But still, Faustus goes ahead and then signs the deed with his own blood, sealing it with his own blood. And from then on, Faustus indulges in power. His curiosity to know things, his thirst for knowledge undergoes the transformation. He becomes more and more, reckless. He becomes trivial. He becomes petty. There is nothing lofty or great about him any longer. His desire for knowledge evaporates and is merely hankering after sensual desires, thrills to gratify his lowest desires and instincts. And when Faustus has many occasions to repent. The good angel keeps visiting him. His friends, the 3 scholars who are his students also, they warn him of the consequences. He is told number of times that still there is time for Faustus to repent, but Faustus is filled with a sense of despair. He feels that he cannot be saved, and at the end, now he goes to Rome, he goes to the Prince of Denmark, Hungary, he goes to, so he travels all over the world, he climbs up to Mount Olympus, he goes and nothing satisfies him, and he realizes that all this has been just not real. It has been simply a kind of, he has bartered his soul for nothing. But then, even when he tries to repent, Satan, Lucifer, and Beelzebub, they show him the horrors, and then he is unable to repent. And finally, he draws up a will, he gives his property to Wagner, and at the stroke of the midnight, the bell, on the 24th year, when the 24th year ends, his soul is carried away by the devils to hell. And well, that's how the story ends. Now, have you got the gist of the story? You must have already read it. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, we need to look at what actually is happening here. Now, when you talk about Faustus as a tragic character, Faustus, now, Marlowe uses the chorus at the beginning of the play. Those of you, now I'll just, you have 4 times the chorus comes in. Can you note it down? 4 times the chorus comes in. The first is called the prologue. At the beginning of Act 1, you have the prologue, wherein the chorus tells us, gives us an introduction to the play. What is it about? Now, it's very interesting to note that the first time, this is a play about an ordinary man, a common man. The character is not a king, nor a nobleman, nor a knight. He is just an average man. He is a university scholar. So for the first time in literature, you have a common man appearing as a tragic hero. Are we able to understand this significant fact?
Yes, sir.
Dr. Faustus is an ordinary man, but he is the subject of tragedy, which usually is about people like kings or princes. So now, the subject also is something not about classical happenings in events like the battles of the past. But I'll just read out. Can you bear me? I'll read out a few. It's just short. Not marching in the fields of Thrasymene, where Mars did mate the warlike Carthaginians, nor sporting in dalliance of love, in courts of kings where state is overturned, nor in the pomp of proud audacious deeds, intend our muse to vaunt his heavenly verse. Only this, gentles, we must now perform. The form of Faustus' fortunes, good or bad. And now, to patient judgments we appeal, and speak for Faustus in his infancy. The beginning chorus says, we are not talking about the kings and emperors and what happened in Greece and Rome, but we are talking about Faustus' fortunes, both good and bad. And we must go back to his childhood and speak of his parents. Now is he born of parents base of stock. His parents were simple people, not kings and emperors and princes. In Germany, within a town called Rhodes. At riper years to Wittenberg he went, whereas his kinsmen chiefly brought him up. So much he profits in divinity. The fruitful plot of scholarism graced, that shortly he was graced with doctor's name. He was given a doctor's degree, Doctor of Divinity, excelling all whose sweet delight disputes in heavenly matters of theology, till swollen with cunning of self-conceit. Now, what is the problem of Faustus? Faustus was filled with what? Self-conceit, meaning pride. Faustus was self-centered. His waxen wings did mount above his reach, and melting heavens conspired his overthrow. For falling to a devilish exercise, and glutted now with learning golden gifts, he surfeits upon cursed necromancy. Nothing so sweet as magic is to him, which he prefers before his chiefest bliss. And this, the man that in his study sits. Now, the chorus clearly tells us that Faustus was born in Germany in a place called Rome. His parents were ordinary people. He excelled in his studies. He was given a doctorate. He was master of theology, and he studied all arts. But he was attracted towards magic. Okay, and he was filled with pride. Now here we are shown the image of Icarus. Now, can you quickly note it down? Icarus, I-C-A-R-U-S. Icarus in mythology, son of Daedalus. E-E-D-A-L-U-S, Daedalus. Icarus, what he wants is, he wants to fly in the sky. So he makes wings for himself, and they are attached with wax, and he flies high, but he doesn't stop at a particular point. He goes above, he soars above. So the wings melt because of the heat of the sun, and he falls down. Did you get the idea? This is the image?
Yes, sir.
Faustus ascends, filled with pride, filled with his own self. He rises above, but he doesn't know where to stop. So what happens? He falls. So the fall of Icarus and the fall of Faustus both have to be seen together. Did you get it, my friends?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, in the play, Calvinism.
Sir, Icarus is the son of, I'm sorry.
Daedalus.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Daedalus. Icarus, the son of Daedalus. Now, one of the important aspects of the play is Calvinism. You know, John Calvin, we refer to his theory, his concept of predestination. That is, man is inherently, selected for damnation. Some are selected for salvation and some are selected for damnation. So the question that Faustus raises here is Faustus already doomed? Even before he does anything, is he destined to be damned or lose his soul? This is a question that the play raises. So, Faustus as a damned hero, damnation, meaning opposite of salvation. The question of free will. Now, Faustus, did he have a choice? Does he have a choice?
Yes, he got a choice.
Yeah. He has a choice. He had a choice to reject, because Mephistopheles doesn't come and tempt him. Like Eve at least was tempted by Satan, right? But Mephistopheles only says that, well, in Act 1 itself, we know that when Cornelius and Valdis suggest that he practice black magic or dark arts, Mephistopheles appears and he says that, yeah, you look ugly, you come back as dressed as a friar, a monk. So Mephistopheles tells him that I did not come because you summoned me. I did not come because you called me. I am not your servant. I came because you already have rejected God. Have you got this clear? Faustus denounces God at the beginning of the play and opens, the space for the devil to enter. Now, to talk about it in this fashion, it appears very simple. But what Marlowe accomplishes in his play is very, very, very clever and subtle. So Faustus, when Mephistopheles is asked by Faustus, where is hell? Okay? And what is hell? Mephistopheles very clearly tells him, even before Faustus signs the pact with him, that not a day goes by in Mephistopheles' reckoning where he does not cry or weep for the pleasures of heaven. Are you able to understand that? So, Faustus was already, he knew what he was into. So, the question of whether Faustus had free will or not is something that you can make up in your answers. Okay? Well, now, one significant aspect of the play is that usually in the examination you are asked these questions. Faustus is a morality play. Now in the morality play what happens is that there are two opposing forces, the good and the evil. Malus Angelus, that is the bad angel, okay? And Bonus Angelus, that is good angel. So the bad and the good angels are actually two conflicting parts of our own consciousness. Okay, that is called the psychomachia. That is the battle that goes in the mind. Now, throughout the play, Faustus has to decide, has to make a decision. So, the morality play is about two opposing forces battling to win the soul of a human being. So, you can answer to yourself how the morality element is very strong in Faustus. And you can see it in the help that is given by the old man, the counsel that is given by his three scholars, the counsel of the good spirit, the voice that he hears, okay, and also to some extent Wagner, okay, and also in a sense Mephistopheles also becomes one of the voices that really try to put him away from signing the terrible pact he makes with the devil. So these are all the elements of morality. Then in the play you have the 7 deadly sins. Now when Faustus shows some signs of repenting, now Lucifer and Beelzebub, they command Mephistopheles to show a pageant of the 7 deadly sins and to lure away, to distract Faustus. So all these are aspects of morality tension. Then very important fact that you need to ponder over is the character of Mephistopheles and the role of Mephistopheles. Now Mephistopheles is not somebody evil who is trying to, take away Faustus. Mephistopheles is a very, very real, nuanced, friendly kind of a character who is very sleek. Okay, he's very, very, very. What should I say? He's very. You like him, and you must answer, or you must ask yourself while reading the play, what role does Mephistopheles play? does Faustus fall because of others, because of what happened outside him, or because of what is within him? What do you think? Some of you might have read.
What is within him, sir? Because he has already started disbelieving God.
Yeah. So this you can just answer, make in your, while you are writing the answers, you say how Faustus is actually, right from the beginning, he renounces God and he makes fun of, everything that is around him, everything that is holy. And then at the end, things have gone so far that he cannot even, speak. So my tongue, okay, I am not even allowed to speak. I'm leaving out all that because when you read the play, you will understand this powerful poetry that Marlowe wrote, describing the conflict within the mind of Faustus. Now, so in the play, now Faustus is not one character who is flat from the beginning to the end. Faustus begins with some nobility, but Faustus degenerates. Faustus becomes petty. Faustus becomes trivial. Now he is become a cheap magician, like enduring tricks, like bringing out grapes out of season, okay, or making the apparitions from the past, Helen of Troy or Alexander and his paramour, okay. He, the famous lines from Faustus, description of Helen. Was this the face that launched 1,000 ships and burned the topmost towers of Ilion? Sweet Helen, make me mortal with thy kiss. So now all this is futile because they are not real. They are all, in the theological or in a necromancy context, it is called as the succubate. The kind of having a union with a spirit or a demon. So Faustus actually becomes trivial. He makes himself very, very cheap, if you can call it. Now you need to also understand the play within the terms of Elizabethan distinction between magic, white magic and black magic or dark magic. Even in Tempest also you come across this kind of a division between what is white and what is dark. Now white magic was considered to be acceptable when only it is about a kind of a science, a kind of knowing God's creation. So trying to understand the secrets of creation is considered to be white magic, or it's a kind of exploration or gaining knowledge. Whereas black magic was considered to be a desire to control and exploit. So now, whether Faustus' magic is black or white is something that you can answer for yourselves. Okay? Now, this is quickly the structure of the play. You can just make a note of it when you are reading this material. Okay? Don't get confused when you are reading sources other than this, because in some places it is seen as only scenes, but actually there are two kinds of manuscript, the A text and the B text. Don't worry about that. You have 5 acts in the play, and they are not very proportionate, meaning some of the acts, can anyone read out this the act-wise division that I have made here? Can you quickly do that?
Act 1, 4 scenes.
Yeah.
Temptation,
just a minute. Before that, there is something you have left out, the prologue.
Okay, prologue, chorus. Sorry, sir. Act 1, 4 scenes. Temptation, predisposition to evil, dark knowledge. Act 2, 3 scenes. Pact with the devil. Chorus 1. Act Act 3, 3 scenes, Rome. Chorus 2, Act 4, 6 scenes, Frederick's Court, Robin clowning. Act 5, 3 scene, Fortisville 2, Wagner, damnation. Chorus.
Epilogue.
Epilogue chorus, sir.
Prologue, okay, and epilogue, okay. So we saw Canterbury prologue to Canterbury Tales, so epilogue, something that comes before. Now, if you look at the structure of the play, this is the plot structure of the play. Act 1, you have 4 scenes, whereas Act 3 has only 3 scenes, right? And then Act 2 and Act 3, 3 scenes each. Act 4 is the biggest because it has 6 scenes, and Act 5 again is a short act. Well, now the prologue tells us what the play is about, okay, and the chorus comes again at the end of Act 2 and at the end of Act 3. So between the third and the fourth acts and the second and the third acts, we have the chorus coming. The chorus function is to comment on the events that have unfolded. Chorus function is to tell us what has happened between these 2 acts, what is going to happen, a kind of a commentary. The chorus has a particular moral point of view. The chorus approves, disapproves of what is happening. So this is all the function of the chorus. So you can write about what function does the chorus perform in the play. From the prologue to the epilogue, what does the chorus do? Though it is not a part of the action, though it doesn't take part in what happens in the play, it provides us with necessary information about what is happening, and then what is the nature of the events. So there is a kind of moral perspective in the chorus information. Now, in Act 1 is very, very significant because it provides us a setting of what is going to follow, because Foster is in his study, he is looking at different branches of knowledge, and he is attracted to necromancy or black magic. So, second act is very, very significant because the most famous lines, powerful lines, are in that act wherein Mephistopheles kind of, influences, fosters, tempts him in some ways to sign the deed. Then Rome is all, wherein all this buffoonery that takes place, where Faustus and Mephistopheles make fun of the Pope and also the cardinals, and very, very ironical kind of a thing, because it's so funny. And there are also subplots within this. Subplot means, they are smaller in scope and seriousness also. They are light-hearted, they are comic, and they are enacting the same thing, meaning lesser characters are trying to use magic for lesser purposes. So that is what happens within these acts. So you find that happening. Act 4, where you have the character Robin, okay, a lot of clowning takes place there. And Act 5 again is a very, very significant act wherein you are shown the damnation of Faustus. I'll just read out the last chorus, okay? It will allow me. Well, it's a short one. Chorus. Cut is the branch that might have grown full straight. Now, this is the chorus. This is, cut is the branch that might have grown full straight, meaning the branch is Faustus. Faustus could have grown straight, but he did not grow straight. He grew crooked and burned his Apollo's laurel bough that sometime grew within this learned man. Faustus is gone. Regard his hellish fall, whose painful fortune may exhort the wise only to wonder at unlawful things, whose deepness doth entice such forward wits to practice more than heavenly power permits. Now the point here is, there was greatness in Faustus. Faustus could have become great. There was learning in him, but whose depth doth entice such forward wits. It is a cautionary kind of a tale. It is a warning to others that, look, the unlawful things have such appeal even to the best of the minds. So, whose deepness doth entice such forward wits to practice more than heavenly power permits. Like Icarus, who flew high, Faustus went beyond. Okay, Faustus lost touch with the reality. So Faustus was, now in the context of Renaissance quest for knowledge. Okay, so the idea of exploration, the idea of knowing things. Okay. Has influenced Marlowe to fashion Faustus as a kind of a very Promethean kind of a figure who loses his soul in search of not true knowledge, but actually a false kind of knowledge and a false sense of having power or control over nature, which no human being is allowed to. Okay, so that's the end of Dr. Faustus. Quick questions you can, in responses you can ask me. No questions, nothing.
Sir, can you explain the chorus again? How can one differentiate when the chorus starts?
It is very clearly mentioned as chorus, okay, in the text. Okay. The epilogue. See, the prologue is by the chorus. The first prologue before the beginning of the play tells us about that. It is clearly referred as prologue. Okay, and then after the end of second act, you find, I'll just take you there. Now, at the end of Act 2, there is this chorus, okay? And it is mentioned in the text, okay? A short comment that the chorus makes. And then again, after the end of Act 3, again have the chorus. And also at the end, epilogue, a short one, just I read it to you now. So it doesn't take much time.
Yes, sir. I had bought a book from Crosswords for Dr. Faustus,
okay.
But the chorus wasn't mentioned as you have mentioned.
Really? What was
yes,
that?
Sir.
What is that book then?
Penguin's Classics, sir.
Penguin Classics, okay. It's not mentioned as it is divided into scenes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right.
And even in As You Like It.
Okay.
That's why I had it out. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So maybe well, you could look up archive.org or Project Gutenberg. Okay.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
When you want to buy a text, you can please let me know so that I can suggest what edition. Because see, this is
yes, sir.
Anyway, you can carry on with that. I can next class I will I'll try to share the PDF of the text with Act division. Now this is by City Scholar Datta, Oxford edition. These are all student editions, okay? College and university literary text, cult series.
Yes, sir.
They are edited by scholars who are, in that field. Scholar data is enriched. Okay? So,
Okay, sir.
yeah, no problem. Anything that you have, you can in my next class, you can bring it to me. I'll try to explain. Right?
Yes, sir. I had bought this earlier in the year.
Oh.
Earlier this year.
Yeah. Next time, whenever you want to buy an edited volume, which is meant for
Students.
studies. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And then in my next class, I am going to talk about Shakespeare. Okay, and then another class I think will be through with drama. Then the last class that I have, I will talk about Bacon essays, and then you have two literary critical works, Apology for Poetry and an essay on dramatic poetry by Dryden. Okay. Well, I'll stop there and.
About black magic, sir?
Yeah.
Black magic definition I want. Black magic definition.
Black magic is something that exercises want to control, and it's a kind of a negative kind of a magic wherein your intention is not explore. This is a Renaissance terms now. I'm not talking about general magic. In the Renaissance world, Elizabethan understanding, the black magic was a kind of magic that tried to exploit and control, not approaching nature with humility, with a desire to know. So it is something that tries to do something bad or harmful. See, let me ask this question. Well, I read Harry Potter. So most of you do read, I think, or might have watched Harry Potter.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you have that. There's a professor of dark arts.
Professor Snape.
Snape. Okay. Yeah.
Nice. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Defense against the dark art.
Yes. Yeah. Now there is dark arts. You find these these creatures. If you look at what is the character, Lord Voldemort.
Voldemort, sir.
Voldemort is he is a dark character, right? And what are these green ghostly creatures that haunt? They are black in shape. They are called what are they called? I forgot the names. Okay, and the point here is that anything that is used for a harmful purpose to exploit and control, that is considered dark. Okay, invoking powers to cause harm. Are you able to understand this? Okay? Yeah. Okay then. We will have more of this again in my next class. You can bring your questions and queries about examination or whatever. Okay, I'll try to help you all. Okay? Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
See you all again next class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hello, I want to ask that anybody can say me what is the timing when class is starting? Because after 1:30 I think it's starting.